everyone, and welcome to Distance Learning at Miss Temple's apartment. Yay! Today is Interview Tuesday, and boy, do I have a treat for you. Jessica Siskin, also known as Mr. Crisp on Instagram. She makes art out of Rice Krispie treats. So cool! And totally edible. I love it. Here's my interview with her. I hope you enjoy. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Miss Temple's apartment. Yay! Today, do I have a treat for you? It is Interview Tuesday, and I'm here with Jessica Siskin, who is Mr. Crisp. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you. So, Jessica, can I interview and ask you some questions for my students?
Totally. That sounds like a great time.
Oh my
Let's
God, I'm
do
so excited. So,
it.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, as you said, my name is Jessica Siskin, and I am a food artist, which means that I make edible art out of Rice Krispies treats. It sounds really weird, but it's really fun, and it's equal parts cooking and art.
I love that. So, can you just tell me, like, why Rice Krispie treats?
So I started making creative Rice Krispie treats totally by accident. I think they're one of the easiest things to make. I
Mhm.
didn't know how to cook anything else at the time since I've learned to cook, but at the time they were the only thing I knew how to make. And I moved into a new apartment and I would make them in the shape of a heart or a star whenever I had friends over. And then one day, one of my friends and I were invited to a birthday party and we were told to bring dessert and we didn't know what to make. And my friend was like, why don't we make a Rice Krispie treat surfboard? Because our friend's a surfer. You always make these cool Rice Krispie treats. Why don't you make a surfboard? So I went online and Googled Rice Krispie treat surfboard to see if anybody had ever made one before. And there
Yeah.
was actually a recipe online and it had food coloring in it. And this was the first time it had occurred to me to put food coloring into a Rice Krispie treat, into that basic recipe.
Yeah.
So I remember when I put the red food coloring in, I had this like immediate and overwhelming like light bulb pop off on top of my head. And it was like, I need to make a cheeseburger out of Rice Krispie treats.
As one would make.
Exactly, as one would. So the
Yeah.
next day, I went home and I made a Rice Krispie treat cheeseburger. It was about this big, pretty big. And when I put it together, I screamed out loud because I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And at
Yeah.
the time, I was working in fashion sales and I brought it into my office the next day, and everyone in the office freaked out. And I just kept doing it because I loved making them. I loved the creativity of it. And I loved the way that it made other people react and the way it made other people feel. So after about a year, I started my Instagram. The rest is
Yeah.
history.
So, do you want to talk to us a little bit about Instagram and how that like is a pivotal moment for you?
For sure. So I always say that I couldn't have started my business one day earlier or one day later than I did.
Mm.
I got really lucky because I started my Mr. Crisp Instagram account in October 2013, which is when Instagram was fairly new and a lot of brands really were just starting to figure it out. And people were actually looking for new creative accounts to follow.
Mm.
And now I think it's very saturated and things are different, but at that time it was really easy to grow because there was no algorithm
Mhm.
and it was really possible to reach a lot of people just by doing something unique.
Oh, yes.
So when I started my account, all of my friends posted about it and very quickly I grew. So I started making Rice Krispie treat art commissions for a lot of different customers in New York where I live.
Yeah.
And I'm really lucky that I have a social media platform that allows me to run my business.
It's really insane how big it can grow so fast.
Yeah.
How long do you think it took to have a following, really?
It was really, really fast for me.
Wow.
So I got my first order on the first day that my Instagram went live. I actually got 3 order requests that day. And I've gotten order requests every day ever since. So it's
Wow.
been really, really cool to see a business grow on Instagram. And then I think
Yeah.
I did some really cool pop culture things. And so then I was getting some press around that. And then I grew even more from that. But it was
This
pretty fortunately easy to grow then. Now it's very hard.
It is, yes, it is very hard now. Um, so do you have any of your artwork that you would like to show us or your
I
Rice Krispie
do.
treats?
let me show you some of my early Mr. Crisp work and then some
Sure.
of my favorites now. So I'm going to share my screen with you.
Sure.
And let's do this. All right.
Let's see.
Can you see what I see?
Yes, Instagram.
Amazing. All right. So this is my Mr. Crisp Instagram, and these are some of my earliest treats. So you can see I made a little cereal bowl here. Here, I won't put my cursor on it so it doesn't get dark. A cereal bowl, a pizza, some rainbow cookies, a bagel and lox.
My favorite.
In, in October. So there are a few
Yep.
Halloween themed treats. This rice. Here is my cheeseburger wrapped in cellophane.
So
This
cool.
breakfast item you see here were one of my first orders ever. So
Okay.
a showroom ordered these for a press event. They were just breakfast themed treats. So this is really early on in my work. And as you can see, I learned a lot over time. So I look back at this stuff and I'm like, wow, like I really have progressed as an artist, and I don't have any art training. I always loved art class, and
Yeah.
it was always one of my favorite electives, but I definitely didn't study it in any sort of serious way. I was more actually, I focused on art history in college.
Yeah.
So while I was aware of art, I wasn't really someone who was making it so much myself. So if
Yeah.
you want to see some of my more recent work, you can see like there's a huge difference in the
Wow, look at
level of
that earth.
detail. Yeah, look at the earth here. I can show you a little video of how I made this one actually.
Let's see.
So obviously this is quite sped up.
Yeah. How long does it average to make one?
It depends
Hmm.
on what I'm making, but for the most part, I'd say about like 30 minutes to an hour. But
Oh,
some
wow.
things and some
Yeah.
things are much quicker. So, for
For-
example, like this emoji here, like this is something that takes 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. I mean, but wow. That's awesome though that you're able to do it so quickly, and I, I'm like very impressed.
Thank you.
You're
So, yeah,
welcome.
no, it's really fun. I've definitely learned, like, if you compare, here, let me show you. If you compare this pizza that I made in 2013
Mm,
to this pizza that I made just a couple months ago, you see
yeah,
there's a huge difference. And that is all through just doing, through the practice of
yeah.
actually getting in the kitchen every day and making new things. And you
Do
pick up new techniques.
Yeah. I mean, do you find that you're working now more to make it realistic looking rather than um not so realistic, or what's
It depends what I'm making. So, what I love about what I do is that I can work in several different styles. So, for example, like here, these are some crystals
Mhm.
that I tried to make really realistic looking.
Yeah.
But then right next to it is the Eiffel Tower that I did in more of a graphic style. So I think about each thing that I'm making and decide which style to use. And I like that I'm not tied to one specific artistic style for anything. I can move through all different ways of doing things.
And so like what inspires you other than food? Like what makes you do what you do?
So I'm definitely inspired by the community that I've built around Mr. Crisp on social media. My customers who order treats to enjoy
Yeah.
holidays for their own celebrations, but also just people who don't live in New York and will never have the opportunity to try a custom treat or may never. And I'm also really inspired by pop culture and the world around me. And I try to, think of everything in a creative way and move through the world with a creative eye so that I can interpret things and bring people a little bit more lightheartedness and joy through my Instagram.
That is so nice. I am so thankful that you were able to do this with me, and I'm sure my students are so thrilled. Um, Now, Jessica, what is your hashtag or your handle so my students, if they want to look?
So yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was so great. And my Instagram is Mr. Crisp. So that's at Mister underscore KRISP on Instagram.
Nice. That's so exciting. Again, thank you so much, Jessica. Friends, if you have any questions, I can send them to Jessica for you. Remember, my email is htemple@schools.nyc.gov. And I hope you reach out. Jessica, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so great.
I'm glad. Yay. See you
Yay.
later.
Have a good one. All right. Bye-bye.
I really hope you enjoyed my interview with Jessica Siskin, also known as Mr. Crisp. If you want to follow her on Instagram, you can. It's at MISTER_KRISP. That's Mr. underscore Crisp. She also has a book called Treat Yourself, where you can make 93 different kinds of Rice Krispie treat sculptures. What? If you're interested in purchasing, you can get this on Amazon. I hope you had a great time, and I can't wait to see what you have to say about my interview. See you later!